Are you in the market for an NDAA-compliant Blue UAS drone option with thermal, with a big zoom range, with a weather rating, and an incredible flight time? Well, guess what? We might have the answer that you're looking for. It's the Parrot ANAFI UKR. We're going to talk all about it. Don't go anywhere. Hey everybody, David Plummer here from Unmanned Vehicle Technologies. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we are talking about the Parrot ANAFI UKR. Now, while UVT has a presence across the country, just last week we hosted a demonstration of the ANAFI UKR at headquarters in Fayetteville, Arkansas, where we invited several organizations around the area to come check out the Parrot ANAFI UKR themselves. They had their chance to get their hands on the drone and the remote, they got to fly it, and they got to see all of the features themselves. And remember, if you want a demonstration or you just want more information, make sure you reach out to us at UVT. Let's get into one of the biggest issues right out of the gate, and that is the NDAA compliance of this drone and the fact that it is on the Blue UAS list. So if your organization is required to meet that criteria, this one definitely checks that box. Okay, let's get into some of the other features of this drone. First up, I want to talk about flight time. This is a big one for anybody that's ever flown a drone. You want the most flight time from your batteries that you can get. Now, Parrot has kind of a unique situation. They've got two different kinds of batteries for this drone. The standard battery is going to get you about 38 minutes of flight time, so not bad, but they've got a bigger battery, the XLR, which actually gives you up to 70 minutes of flight time on a single charge. Now, both of those flight times obviously are going to vary depending on how you're flying, what the weather's like, but still, 38 minutes is pretty good, pretty standard for a drone these days. 70 minutes is unheard of for a single flight battery. With the standard battery, you're gonna get about 14 miles of flight distance. And with the XLR battery, you're gonna get almost 25 miles of flight distance. This drone actually has 5G connectivity. So it's got a regular Wi-Fi signal, but it can switch over to using 5G. So if you can fly beyond visual line of sight, that 5G is really important because essentially it's like an unlimited connection. The only limitation on that is going to be the fact that your batteries are not infinite, even though, like I just said, they've got a great flight time. So let's talk about the payload here. You've got a 35 times hybrid zoom range. It's actually, I think, around 5 times of optical zoom, but 35 times of hybrid zoom is really gonna be enough for most people. And the video is all in 4K, so you're gonna get a nice crisp image. One of the great features of this color payload system is the fact that you can actually do object identification and object tracking. So it will literally lock onto something and it will continue to follow it. Now, the drone itself is not going to follow the object. So the drone is not going to like try to fly after a car or something like that, but it'll sit in a stationary position and it will use its camera to lock on and then follow that object. Another big feature that is important to a lot of people these days is the fact that it also has a FLIR Boson 640 by 512 thermal sensor on it. It's got several different palettes, just like a lot of drones that you are already familiar with, and it'll give you a temperature reading from -40 degrees all the way up to 482 degrees Fahrenheit. You can also do sort of a picture-in-picture here where you can actually overlay the thermal image on top of the color image, so it's like a box inside of a box. A lot of people really like that because they still get that color camera on the outside of it, but then you can sort of see the thermal right in the middle. The other thing that people really like is the fact that it does an overlay. So it'll blend the thermal image with the color image, and it'll just make things more crisp and clear and easier to see. And it's all stabilized by a gimbal, so your shots are going to be super smooth. Let's talk about how this drone does in bad weather. It is IP53 rated for rain and dust, so you're going to be able to fly this drone in snow or in rain, or if you live in Texas or something and the dust storms are coming, this drone is going to be able to handle it. Although I would suggest that if you're flying in some inclement weather like that, make sure you dry it all off and don't just put it in the box wet. The Parrot ANAFI UKR has a wind resistance of 33.5 miles per hour. Your drone might be flying like this, kind of sideways. It can handle any of those high winds. The operating temperatures for this drone are -33 up to 122 degrees Fahrenheit. That is fantastic. So whether you are in the Arizona heat or you are in the cold of the Midwest, this drone is not going to fail on you because it's too cold or it's too hot. And that's just further proof that this really is an all-weather drone. How long does it take to get this drone out of the box and up in the air? It's under 2 minutes. For those of you especially working in public safety, time is of the essence. It could be the difference between life and death. You're gonna be able to get it out of the back of your squad car or your truck, and you're gonna be able to get it up in the air in less than 2 minutes. Another big issue that people ask about a lot is security. Now, the good thing about the Parrot ANAFI UKR is nothing is shared with anybody unless the user agrees to it. If you want to keep it all private or if you want to open it up a little bit, has the possibilities of both, and it is up to you. The drone actually has 512 gigabytes of memory in the drone. That's pretty incredible. So really, you wouldn't need a micro SD card if you didn't have one, or if you didn't want to put one in the drone, you really wouldn't have to, but it does have an additional slot where you can put a micro SD in and record directly to the SD card. The Parrot ANAFI UKR is jamming resistant and can withstand electronic warfare. Of course, the drone also has obstacle avoidance sensors, so it's going to keep you from running into things. The Sky Controller UKR is the remote, and it is big, it is beefy, it's got a big bright screen, and it all works on the Android operating system. You literally have an Android tablet that plugs right in and fits perfectly into the space on the remote. And the Sky Controller UKR actually has an HDMI output, it has a USB charging port, it has a USB-A data port, and it has an Ethernet port. Now, I asked what this Ethernet port was actually for, and that is so you can do sort of a remote antenna situation. So you can have one remote controller wherever that may be, but say you need extra range, you can actually connect it with another remote via Ethernet, and you're gonna get a stronger signal. If you're a little nervous about flying a drone, maybe you haven't flown something this advanced, it actually has a training simulator that you can use. You can hook it up to your computer and you can learn to fly this drone before you literally ever take it up in the air. All right, so that was a ton of information, just really in a quick overview. Again, if you're interested in a demonstration of this drone, if you're interested in more information, make sure you reach out to Unmanned Vehicle Technologies, and we've got people all over the country, and we are ready to serve you no matter where you are in the United States. We appreciate you stopping by, and we'll see you next time.